Is America doomed? You guys have seen videos like this. Most folks are going to say things like, no, we have a chance, reason, history, historical precedent. Look at this president, look at that uprising, look at this rebellion. But truth of the matter is, guys, is not only is America doomed in the, I guess, classic sense, it's doomed in a, we're like the cocoon for a soon to sprout super entity that is literally, well, in the Bible, God calls Babylon a weapon or a tool in his hand, essentially like the hammer of the nations. Its job, though evil, was always to step in and be used by God to judge other nations. In the story of Israel specifically, truth of the matter is, if we're being honest about the way that the nations are treated all throughout the Bible, Old and New Testament, a nation is judged based upon A, the quantity of believers, and B, the quality of believers, right? So what we're seeing around us is a moral degradation first, and then all the cascading judgment, negative stuff that essentially proceeds from this very, very poor set of behaviors we've been expressing. And it's on a gradual decline. We got major quote-unquote Christian politicians saying that countries like Uganda illegalizing certain interpersonal relationships is somehow the worst thing in the world, when truth of the matter is, we know that allowing perversion to take over a country the way that ours has is literally begging God to judge it. So not only do you see the people that claim to be, the most godly, utterly co-opted, and they are, let's be fair, they're very much on the side of Satan. All the Christian crusaders that we've voted in, they've all ended up divorced. They've all ended up with significant others that are also divorced. They're all a part of the machine. They're all very much vested in keeping their power and maintaining as much popularity as possible so as to keep that power. They're all bought and paid for. And yeah, for a short period of time, they may have said some things that we like. Me personally, I've tried to stay out of politics for a while, but if we're being honest, and hopefully if you guys are watching this, you are, every single one of them falling off the edge of morality. I'm not going to name names. You guys can go look up and see who I'm talking about. But any and everybody who's claimed to be some sort of Christian warrior has either gotten divorced, flip-flopped on, same-sex marriage, and whether or not these things are acceptable en masse on a moral scale in our country, they're all behind it now. I hear the saying that Republicans are just Democrats doing the speed limit. That's very true. They're all very much paid for by the same people. They're all very much governed over by the same people. The difference is one is supposed to be the feigned counterforce. And this is all designed for control. The apex of all of this, guys, is a great deception that will co-opt as much of the right and Christianity as possible into believing that this soon to be, and I'm sure there will be some actual answer involved. I'm sure part of the peak of the great deception is some actual answer, some actual set of justices that we've been asking for. Pick a problem, you're probably going to see some sort of answer. It's going to either be financial. There's probably going to be a gigantic jubilee the moment they introduce this new currency, right? And if it's a pseudo-Christian Judeo type religion that the Antichrist is going to foist upon us essentially and try and fool us with, there's going to be certain amounts of law that are not possible to be followed or fulfilled, but they'll be reenacted as if that somehow is proof that this fake God, which is actually Satan, is the quote-unquote true God, as they're going to put it. So the United States going down in flames the way that it is, it doesn't just go down in flames. We're like an evil phoenix, You're going to see cities rebuilt. You're going to see, money come back. Money, because it's not going to be real money. It's going to be some digital Bitcoin wannabe with the United States seal on it, I'm sure. You're going to see a strong resurgence. You're going to see the economy explode. You're going to see your right-wing heroes come charging back to the fore. They're all going to be for all of these things, by the way. They're all going to be amoral. They're all going to be, pro everything that they were not 40 or 50 years ago, because it is objectively wrong. And they're going to be doing it specifically so as to continue to drag down the moral character of believers in this country. And that is ever the devil's goal. Don't fool yourself. This is not just a random occurrence. For those of us who are awake and eyes wide open, you should realize that the goal of all of this, it's never the unbelievers, it's never the weak, it's always the strong. It's always the ones that are standing on top, still doing whatever they can to follow the Lord's will, do the work that's put in front of them, however daunting it seems, and painful and unfulfilling it seems. It does matter. It makes a difference, and he's doing everything he can to demoralize us. He's taking out all the major cultural structures, all the businesses that have been around for 20, 30, 40 years that we identify as American. The so-called communist top-down economic takeover that's causing all of these businesses to jump ship and literally commit suicide, as it seems. These things are all on purpose to make us more and more upset, to the point to where once an answer comes around that I fully believe is being ushered in by the current quote right, and I don't know what else to call it. It's all fake and it's all nonsense, but it's supposed to give us a rallying cry. Satan is getting us ready for his, ostensibly right-leaning son, if you will, the Antichrist. He's going to be from the right, guys. He's going to be somebody that the mass of social Christians, I call them social because they may or may not believe, but they are totally into whatever the crowd is into. And the more of those that they can pull along, the more family of theirs that are serious that they can try and drag down, the more social superstructures they can take with them, because they're in charge. They're the leaders of business. They're the people that have compromised morally so as to have great control over a lot of these companies. I thought it was hilarious to see that Chick-fil-A finally jumped ship. Yesterday, day before, something like that. They came out with an announcement. Who didn't think they wouldn't? They're being funded by all the same super entities that really want to see us go down. Daniel 11 is very, very clear. There is a cabal, a small group of very powerful, very rich people that are essentially in charge of pulling all the strings, making sure everything for Antichrist is set up. This is Babylon, people. Babylon is not a system. Babylon is not, a type of money. It's not an amorphous thing. It's an actual country. The original Babylonia. Paul went out of his way to call Rome Babylon because it was the Babylon of its day. Ezekiel, Jeremiah both make reference to it. The woman in the basket. This is wickedness. She's on her way to Babylon, to Babylonia. That happened after the original Babylonian captivity, guys. That's talking about us. We are the ones with the horrific business practices that take advantage of everybody, that's full of greed, that is utterly controllable by our perceived financial well-being. That is us. That is us in a nutshell. So we're not going down because of anything that is inherently like any other nation before us. We're going down specifically because this is a guided crash. And the goal is to give the perception, again, of a phoenix rising from the ashes, but it's going to be black. It's going to be evil. It's going to look like it's on our side. It's going to look like something coming back from the dead, just the exact same vision of the beast coming out of the sea. So is the woman riding the beast. It's an intentional metaphor to show that all of the hopes Antichrist is instilling in the peoples that decide to follow him are one of domination over perceived evils. He's going to have a gigantic crusade. This is where he's from. This is where he takes over first before he goes to Rome. In fact, hopefully I'll remember to put the videos about that, because I have, it's a 3 or 4 part series about Babylon, Mystery Babylon specifically. The Antichrist comes from here. He takes over here. He launches his worldwide religion from here, and he takes over Rome from the vantage point of Babylon. And a lot of his impetus internationally comes from Babylon being offended by the king of the south, the Madhi, who, I should do another video about that, because there's a couple of people out there sticking out like a sore thumb that very well could be him, which is, to me, it's mind-boggling that this is the case, that it's coming out. It's almost like a cartoon, to be honest. Yeah. So can it be avoided? Can our destruction be avoided? No. It's been foretold. It's been foretold. The natural degradation of humanity in the way in which it's devolved is absolutely scriptural. This is just a time for faith. This is a time to learn. This is a time to grow. You guys, if you're not going through hard times right now, if you're not being pressed, if you're not being literally tested, and I don't just mean emotionally tested, I mean literally tried in the crucible of life, you're likely not onto something. That's something to be afraid of, especially being so close to the tribulation. Be afraid if you're not being put through trials and tests right now to get you ready. That probably means there's some serious repentance that needs to come along on your part. And I know I'm not perfectly on top of things. There's many things I wish the Lord would come and seemingly relieve me of to help get things ready, but maybe it's here for a reason. I don't know. I worry mainly about the kids. Why would he give somebody so many children on the cusp of the worst trial the earth has ever seen? But it's for a reason. And I'll tell you guys, secret hint, maybe not so secret if you've been studying, the main remnant of not only Jews but also Gentiles, the third that survived, the third of Christians that survived, likely survive in Babylon. So although things seem absolutely terrible now, and this country is soon to be nothing like it's ever been, there is a certain amount of long-term hope in regards to his plan. But we should not be looking for any political answer for any of this, because those are all co-opted. It's all 100% put under the devil's power and being used for his purposes right now mightily, let's be honest. Anyway, comment down below, let me know what you think. Things are not, they're not as they seem. This is controlled. You know, yes, things are bad, things are expensive, things are all these things, but they're gonna get a lot worse. The four horsemen are not, they're trends that are gonna live throughout the entirety of the tribulation, and you ain't seen nothing yet. So we need to be accepting the test now, so that when the time comes, we're ready. And we need to be praying, and we need to be staying as close to him as consistently as possible, sticking together. But there's going to be a bunch of us that seem to be doing so. They're also going to turn some others in here pretty quick, so we need to be ready for that. Anyway, guys, I'm rambling. I hope you're having a good day. Don't let these things get you down. This only all means that we're just a few short years from actually seeing his glory. This is going to be amazing. It's going to be a symphony. Too bad it's with so much destruction, but that's what people are asking for. So free will has to reign, but it also has to pay. Anyway, guys, like, share, subscribe. Let me know what you think. I hope the weather's nice where you're at. It's gorgeous here. Talk to you soon, guys.